Welcome. Thank you, Gore, for sending in your request for the free coaching session. This is my very first session, and you're my very first student, I guess. And thank you so much for applying. Maybe for the purpose of everyone, that's gonna watch, maybe you can just introduce yourself a little bit. I have your itch.io open here, so maybe you can just talk about yourself for a bit.
All right. Hi, everyone, and Jeremy. Thanks for having me.
Mm,
So my name is Go Xiaohang. I also go by the name GameCells in the game development community.
mm.
So what you see now is my portfolio that I have built over 3 years of academic experience plus 1 year of work experience as a professional game designer. I mostly work on small games that plays for 5 to 15 minutes, and I'm joining this coaching session to get some advice on how to create longer games, how to stay motivated, and how to plan my projects better.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. So you have a game for us right now. It's called the Containment Room, correct?
Yes,
So this is the game right here, right? The Containment Room.
yes.
Okay.
The game is basically a SCP and
Mm,
FNAF inspired game that focus on a certain entity called AE32,
mm,
and it's a little girl that has two personalities.
mhm.
One is a kind personality, and the other is a murderous personality. And there will be an power outage during your first day on this monitoring job, and you have to rely on the kind personality's advices and
Mm,
instructions to survive, while the other personality will try to mimic the instructions,
mm.
and you have to tell them apart and avoid following them.
Okay,
So
cool.
that's what the game's about.
All right, cool. I'm just gonna just play a little bit. I know that this is not like the full. I know this is just like very limited functions and very limited features. But I'm just gonna play through a little bit because I think there are a lot of things that I kind of like, and there's also I also got maybe just a few questions like design questions to just sort of ask like what is the decision, like why do you make these choices, things like that. So I'm
All right.
just gonna play a bit and maybe I'll just ask questions here and there lah. First question. You did all the art, right?
Yes.
You did all the art. I think the first thing I can tell you is that I really like the the way the game is presented, like the art style. Okay,
Thanks.
so this is where you read the how to say the behavior of this young girl, correct?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
correct.
and it's written like very like very SCP style. Is that correct?
Yes, because
Ah,
it's inspired.
yeah. Okay, so you like read the instructions. Okay, so there's also like some instructions on like there's a code here and everything. So and then you sign your name here. Yep. Do you do that sound as well, or you do you have like somebody to do the sound, or you have to like source yourself?
I actually source it from the internet,
Ah,
so
okay,
it's
okay.
not made by me.
All right, cool. All right. So you have a conversation. So this is the girl that you're talking about, right? That has this dual personality.
Yes,
Ah.
it's the entity you will be monitoring.
What inspires you to have this twin girl setting?
Actually, the idea came from one of the GMTK game jams a few years ago, but
Mm,
back then I didn't have the ability to create the game. So
mm.
years after I finally like decide to take the step out and try making this idea that I had all those years back then during the
Ah,
GMTK game jam.
I
Yes.
see. And how long was this ago?
I started this project 1 year ago, but
Ah.
I haven't been working too much on it lately because
Mm,
of
mm.
some bottleneck and design issues I'm having.
When you say GMTK, you're talking about the Game Maker's Toolkit, is it that YouTube,
Yes,
that one, right? Oh, okay, that guy. Okay,
yeah, the theme
so
back then is
mm.
out of control, which is what inspired this kind of gameplay.
This 2 minute timer, what is your like reason for this one?
The purpose is just to make a sense of urgency because
Mm,
she warns you that a power outage is going to happen.
mm, mm,
If I
mm,
just let the player do whatever they want and wait around, it's not going to feel urgent.
mm, mm,
So
mm,
that's why the timer's there. But you can also still ask a few questions, or that it's enough, definitely enough for that.
mm. And this effect also you did, correct? This lighting thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, this one. I think that's one thing that stands out to me. The light, this effect is really nice. Um,
thanks.
yeah, this flash. Okay, so this is like these are some of the controls that you can do, right? You can lock down the room.
Yep.
Yeah.
The UI is a bit off compared to the my editor
Mhm.
version,
Mhm.
but I haven't been able to fix it in time
Mm.
before I made this build.
Mm. Mm. Okay. And that's right. The game flow is not fully in yet. It's just this one now. Oops. Actually, that's the first time I'm pressing it.
Yeah, that button's actually supposed to release
Yep.
the monster you should be keeping, but it will have a glass cover to prevent you from pressing it in the
Yes.
real game.
Mm. Mm.
It's
Mm.
just
Mm.
not in for now.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. So now I want to go back to the game again and just sort of like ask like what do you feel that you're right now struggling with the most, or what do you feel right now you're stuck with the most?
I think it's the enemy AI.
Mm. Mm.
There's actually, so you see the teddy bear
Mm.
beside
Mm.
the little girl.
Mm. Mm.
That's actually one of the monsters that's going to attack you,
Yep. This one,
and
right?
it will be coming. Yep.
Yep.
If you turn around, the teddy bear will be entering from this side, and you have to use the lockdown button to block it off.
Ah, I see. The lockdown. This one. Sorry, this one here, right?
Yeah,
So I lock. So it should be. Oh, this should close, like, right? All right.
like the window, it's basically the same thing.
Understand? Okay. Yeah. So this will close now.
There's
And
also the instructions part,
yes.
which I think, yeah, can you go to the document
Mm,
above
this one.
where it explains the instructions? The
The
text wiggling, yeah, this one.
this one. Yes, correct. This part here, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
The good personality, the
Mm,
kind one is called Lily,
mm,
and
mm,
the murderous one is called Iris.
mm.
So, uh, the gameplay about is also inspired by the kids game Simon Says. Are you aware of this
Yes,
kids game?
yes, yes. It's like somebody will say something and you have to follow that statement, right? You have to follow the instruction.
Yeah,
Mm.
basically, if he added the prefix Simon Says, you have to follow it, but if he didn't, you mustn't follow the instruction or
Mm,
you lose the
mm,
game.
mm, mm, mm.
So it's a similar concept here.
Yep,
If
yep,
it's a good personality talking to you, the text will be normal, floating across the screen.
yep, yep.
But if it's the murderous one, it will be some wiggly text. There will be typos.
Mm, mm,
There's
mm. This one, right?
incorrect capitalization. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So there will be signs to tell you that this is an instruction that you shouldn't follow. I have these ideas on how each monster works. So the
Mhm,
girl have this instruction mechanic while the
mhm,
bear just walks in from
mm,
the
mm,
door and you have to block it off.
mm, mm,
And there's also one that isn't implemented yet, which is a drawing
mm.
that attacks you if you use your flashlight on them.
This one, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Basically, all these monsters or apparitions from this girl, and then either Iris or Lily will tell you what to do during these moments, right? So you have to kind of like infer from the instruction. Oh, is it Iris that's telling you, or is it Lily that's telling you? And then, like, let's say if Lily is the one that's telling you, you have to do it. If Iris is the one that's telling you, you should not do it.
And things like the bear and the drawing is just there to make things more chaotic.
Mm,
The
mm, mm,
instruction is its own set of rules, but this other entities is just there to
mm, mm.
add some more uh difficulty to it.
I see, I see. And this particular Simon Says thing, is it something that you feel the you want the strongest, or this is something that you're still sort of experimenting?
I definitely want this in the game, but
Mm.
I'm currently finding it quite hard to incorporate with other
Mm,
mechanics.
mm. Okay, okay. Like you have a lot of these mechanics, right? Is there any one of this mechanic in particular you're like really stuck with, and why?
There's two that I'm really liking. The
Mm.
first one is the instructions from the girl.
Uh-huh.
And there's also, if you scroll down,
Yep.
so this entity called the tall man,
Oh,
the
this
the
one,
one
yeah.
with
Yeah, yeah,
anti-mage.
yeah, yeah.
Yes. So basically, this is more like a secret Easter egg kind of
Yes.
enemy that has a low chance of entering your room.
Mm, mm, mm,
And when it does, it breaks your wall
mm.
and it progresses through. three phases
Mm,
as
mm,
it walks towards you,
mm, mm.
and it basically mumbles some gibberish that you can't understand, and its ability is to distort and basically melt everything around it. So the way
Ah.
you are going to fend him off is by using the flash, the
Mm,
room wide flash,
mm,
for
mm,
three
mm,
times,
mm, mm.
and that will scare him away. So I really
Ah,
like
okay.
these two. The bear is more of a classic FNAF kind of behavior.
Yep. When you said you like, right? You like the mechanics, or you like how it looks, or you like how you think it's gonna feel like what do you like about it?
Actually, both.
Both, ah. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Mm, mm,
I
mm,
think it's exactly because I really like this kind of mechanics,
mm,
so I
mm,
try to invest as much in the art and also the
mm,
how the scene is being built out,
mm, mm,
especially for the torment.
mm,
So
mm,
you
mm.
can see a lot of effects, the dark room becoming brighter and brighter,
Yeah.
even though it's supposed to be a dark horror game.
Mm,
So
mm.
it really changes everything when it enters the room.
Right, right. And you already have an idea how you want to do it art-wise, correct?
Yep.
Mm-mm. Okay, okay. I think I got everything. So I asked all the questions I think I need to ask. I do have some sort of a few points that I can point out that you might or might not find helpful. You might or might not find that it is the one that is trying to sort of causing this sort of tension between your mechanics and your feel. So I can go through these notes and comments, and maybe I can ask you even more questions, or maybe you can tell me like what is it that you want or actually don't want. Maybe then you let me know like how do you feel about whether is it helpful or not, like in that sense. Yeah, is that okay?
Okay.
All right, cool.
Yes.
All right, okay. One thing I want to say is that so one thing I really like about this game. This is something that I feel that immediately stands out to me is that your art style, it's very cool. I like that, I like this pixel art thing. I like that when you go into the dark, there's this sort of I can barely see anything, and I can use the flashlight to find. Um, you know, I like that the room is very simple, and I like that the fact that you have all these controls, right? There's kind of blocking your screen, and then you turn back, it's like, oh, there's something behind. You can pull out these controls here, and then you turn out, it's like, oh, there's something here. And I think like there's like a cupboard or a drawer thing that you mentioned in your document as well, right? So like
Yeah.
you're constantly like switching scenes, and you're not really sure like where to look at. I think that's one thing that's really good. Your notes on how all of this is gonna materialize and everything, I can really see that you're very passionate about how does it feel like when you look at it, when these monsters appear, how should it feel like? It should feel scary, it should look in this particular way, the lighting should feel like that. I can really tell that you put a lot of effort into making sure that these things come through lah. A lot of these small details that you add to the the pixel art and everything, I feel that this is one of your strongest point. And if I have to say, because you're solo deving, you cannot do a lot of things at once. My suggestion is that I want you to really, really focus on your strength. You have a very good intuition on how to set up these scares. Like this blocking screen and this come out, like I feel like you have a good intuition on how you want the scares to appear. And I think like that would be a very, very good focus for you. Having said that, I will just point out a few things that maybe that might might or might not help you in terms of focusing how your game wants to be lah. I put this here because number one, normally it's just to help your documentation a little bit, but also to help really like focus in terms of what you feel is more important than others. You don't have to put all the examples here. It's just more like a suggestion. So one thing I want to note that is that you have a section here on target audience, and you have like a lot of inspirations here. I think it's good to have reference for other games, and it's a very nice benchmark they can aim for. But I think the SCP story is so wide. There's so many different kinds of SCP stories. And also the FNAF series itself is also becoming more and more advanced, right? Like we started with like you stuck in a security room to prevent the monsters from chasing you, and then now like the recent SCP, the recent FNAF game is like a third person, walking around the level, using the
Yeah.
flashlight to look around things. It's very different already. So I think it's very important like you sort of pinpoint the things that you really really want to do, and you really really feel like you want to focus on. And I think like having SCP and FNAF is good reference, but really being able to point out specific things might be helpful lah. Like let's say for example you want to feel like powerless against the monsters. Maybe accuracy of knowledge is the only way out. So that means knowing things helps you. One thing I don't know if it's intentional. But you have this here. Controls are not instantaneous. So that means when you press something, right, there's like a slight delay of it happening, like the flashlight, there's a charge, right? 3, 2, 1, flash, and then there's a cooldown, right? And then 3, 2, 1, flash. I kind of like this because I feel like it adds a lot of tension. So I don't know if this is
Yeah.
part of it, but I just wrote it here because it stands out to me, and I thought that maybe this is something that you want to keep in mind. Players should feel tension when view is changed. So like for example, you have the scene where it's like I'm looking at the room and then I'm looking behind me. I'm pulling up the controls and then I look at what's in front of me, that kind of thing. There's this sort of like obscurity, like this feeling of obscurity between your vision and what's behind you. FNAF, the original FNAF has this because when you look at the cameras, you cannot look at the door, correct? So every
Yep.
time you look at the camera, you're not looking at the door. Every time you look at the door, you're not looking at the camera. So there's always this tension when I switch views, right? There's this tension. This is the one thing that I noticed from FNAF have and you have, and I put instead of saying inspired by FNAF, I want you to put something like this here. So then you know exactly what about FNAF that you like, and that can be carried out. And then when you really stuck, you every time you keep coming back to this one, you say, oh, do I feel tension when I change view? No. Then this mechanic I need to set it aside. You can change these pillars anytime, but I recommend to set it early and kind of have a good idea. Of course, you can change it along the way. I mean, you're not married to these ideas, right? But having this like as like a guideline, right, to sort of help you to understand like where you are in your design phase, so you know what decision to make.
Yeah.
Time is always paired with danger. So like there's a timer mechanic. This is something that I noticed as well. FNAF has this one, so I don't know if this is something that you thought about having or you might not have, don't plan to have, but each action would cost resource, so there's something that the game has.
I actually plan for a mechanic that's like, since in lore the girl with the two personalities,
Mm
the
mm
reason that she's not attacking you is because she can be suppressed by a certain audio wave
mm
that's
mm.
constantly being played inside of the containment chamber.
Ah
But
ah ah.
when there's the power outage, she can attack you. And one thing I thought of doing is that you can use the control panel to allocate resource. So
Mm
there's
mm
actually a backup audio transmitter that you can use to temporarily suppress her. That's part of a consideration I made, but I
mm.
nothing too solid.
Okay, cool. I think like having this kind of design pillars are basically what you feel like you really want to have in the game. Put it up because I think if you have SCP and FNAF, you're gonna go infinite. I feel like there's so many inspiration from these two, right? So
Yeah,
it's good to pick the thing that like pick very specific things from those games that you like and add it to this one. The more you form this one, the easier it is for you to like make decisions down the line, basically. I also feel that this game has a lot of different elements. So it feels like it could be a containment game, a lie detection game, identification game. They're all different kind of pillars, and some of these might clash with one another. So you might want to ask yourself, like, if I put these two pillars together, will it create a messy, like a very complicated scenario or not? At the end of the day, I think it's also good to simplify it because you're a solo dev. You're not only limited at resource. You're just one person, right?
yeah,
Keeping things simple is sometimes very very helpful. Having all of these ideas, right, doesn't mean you're dumping it away. It's just more like I'm gonna focus on this idea for this game at this point, and then maybe I'll see which other ideas can come in later on. Okay.
I see.
Yeah. So I think having these pillars, you try to write a few and just sort of like get a sense of like, oh, this is what I really want. This is what I don't want. Yeah. So
Mm.
like this one, you pull out the thing and then lock, she appears. I really like this one. I can I can imagine, like I saw a little bit in the build that you showed me earlier, like the text behind there's some sort of say look behind you, and then you can look behind, right? So do you want to look behind or don't want to look behind? So that's sort of tension there, right? So I think this is
Yeah.
the one thing that I feel stands out the most, and I think like I think you want to keep this one, but also of course. Focus on the things that you really want to do. Second thing, align your verbs and player action. This was the one thing that you really want, but I just want to point it out here because this is something that I just want to ask you to think about it because I cannot see the mechanic itself, so I don't want to put like full weight on this particular comment. Is this something that when I see it, I'm reading the documents, I'm looking at the build, this is something that's thinking in my head. So the way that Iris gives fake instructions are through the voices, like because this game has no voice acting, and
Yeah.
and you have text to represent the characters talking. These voices are presented as text. One of the things that might happen is players will look for visual cues when seeing them, that immediately removes the tension and uncertainty of whether this phrase is truthful. You get what I mean? So it's like saying like
Yeah.
instead of like listening, right? Instead of listening to, oh, look behind, is she telling the truth? The truth is already represented in the presentation of the word. So in immediately you look at it, lie, oh truth, oh lie, oh truth. It becomes like that. There's no like, wait, what did she say? That kind of thing. So this is the one small danger that your Simon Says mechanic might have. Because traditionally for other games, right, when you need to identify some kind of lie, there's always like a reference material to look at. The tension of the company is to making 100% sure you're reading it correctly under a limited time. This is not one of the games you reference, but it's something that I thought about when looking at your game, like Papers, Please, right? It's like
Yeah.
this person is lying to you by giving to you false documentation. Then it's up to you, right, to really check and see whether is it telling the truth or lie. Because this has obscurity. You see, comparing these two is like, oh wait, let me check first. I think it's this. Wait, let me double check. Wait, is the spelling correct? Is this, like, is the alias correct? That kind of thing. There's a lot of tension in these visual things. Whereas if you have voices like this, right, there's a
Yeah.
chance that this will not happen. So I don't really feel what is the right solution, because I think it's important to know that I'm not trying to change the vision of your game or anything. I'm just pointing out that this might be an issue for you to think about it.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yes. So the only game I can think of that uses voices to identify a lie is L.A. Noire. This game, right? I don't know if you know this one. It's like an interrogation game, and the game sort of like prides itself on like fully mocap, full voice acting and things like that. And then it's like up to see if they're lying, right? They squint their eyes, they pause, so you can actually listen and see and hear the way the character talk. But you do not know,
Mm.
whether they're telling the truth or not. And then you can, press X to dial. This is a very famous meme because of that game. Yeah.
I just want to ask if,
Yes.
let's say for example, because I didn't write it like
Mm.
as super in detail, but the text shaking, and it's just not just shaking lah, but
Mm.
there's different effects. But
Yes.
as the game progresses, this kind of effects will be less and less, so that it
Ah.
actually means that the fake instructions are getting more and more similar to the real ones.
Ah.
But
Ah.
it will just be a subtle shade, or maybe from three typos to just
Mm.
one
Mm.
that's
Mm.
quite hard to spot. Maybe the I becomes an L.
Mm. Mm.
Do you think that fixes the issue, or maybe not?
The one criticism about this game that when it came out is that it's
Yeah.
still really hard to tell whether is it a truth or a lie. Because sometimes you think they're telling the truth and it's a lie, and sometimes they think they're telling a lie and then it's a truth. So when that happens, right, player will become very uncertain about, what is the game developer trying to make me do. I'll give you an example. Let's say this shaking becomes so small that it's hard to tell. But maybe the player's monitor might, flicker a bit, and then it looks like it's shaking, but it's not really shaking, and then they kind of get paranoid, and then they think, oh, it's a lie, and then they think, oh, it's a truth. So you might come into that problem where it's like the more you shrink the distance between like how much it shakes, the more harder and harder it is to tell, and the more harder it is for players to feel like they are rewarded or punished for their mistakes. Because in Papers, Please, they give you something to refer to, and this is absolute, right? When it doesn't match, there's no doubt one, right? The game is very clear in terms of like what is the correct information and what is the wrong information. And sometimes this pixelated art also gives you the extra layer of uncertainty, but they don't really like rush you for it. Like for example, this one, right? This one, if
Yeah.
let's say it dashes across the screen, right, really fast, and then it's gone, and
Yeah.
then you'll be like, oh no, I can't really see it. But Papers, Please, they give you time to really, 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 really look at it, right, before you commit. And the overall timer is counting down because you have to get through as many people as a day, and that's where the tension starts. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want
Yeah.
to think of that tension of you giving the player as in the context of the larger space that you're giving. So your solution might be okay, but I think the risk is still there. And the reason why is this. The reason why I asked you to think about verbs, right, is because for games, the more correlation your verb and your player action is the same, the stronger it is. What I mean by this, if your verb is saying Iris is telling you information, Iris is giving you information, okay, and
Yeah.
you have to listen, and this is the like listen, but she's not really telling, and you're not really listening, right? She is presenting text, and you are reading text. So reading is your real verb, not listening. So you want to
Mm.
ask yourself now that because reading is your verb, you want reading to become what do you call you want reading to become the main way of your player identifying. Papers, Please has this, like the misspelling of names, correct? They have that, but they don't rush you for
Yeah.
time. They just leave it there for you to check. So my suggestion is that if you want to have these instructions, have it in a way that player can have the time to really make sure whether they get wrong or not. And the danger of them taking long time or short time is costing them, like, in that sense.
Mm.
So there's a stronger tension there, because if this one flashes across the screen, because it becomes more vague, you need to give them more time. And because you give them more time, they need to weigh the decision between, like, oh my god, do I want to spend more time verifying, or do I need to make a call? If it's wrong lah, And but they know I am taking a risk here. The one that looks really interesting is flashlight, like you can shine to illuminate something, chase something away. That's something that the verb and the player action is very, very in line. So it's very easy to sort of match the two. Opening the closet, I think there's one note there. Again, I don't know if this is, I don't know if you plan to have this or not, but opening the closet and closing the closet. This one might not feel impactful because you just like opening and closing is like, it's just checking something is inside. I think you want to think about turning how to say have that kind of verb that is like a bit more impactful, that can impact something rather than just, oh, I'm just gonna take a look at something or not. But this
So maybe something like after you open the closet, you need to like move something inside or
uh
take something out, right?
let's say for example the closet has like okay, I don't know if you want to have this, but just example, let's say the closet has a gun that is like chained up, and you can only take the gun if you open the closet, something like that. So
Yeah.
opening the closet would give you access to something, and then closing the closet would remove access to that thing.
Yeah.
So like let's say opening the closet will, like let's say will release like a kind of sound or kind of light that stops the monsters. The more you do that, then the more you want to think, right? It's like, oh, instead of closet, should it be a case? Or is it, instead of like a closet, should it be a radio? That kind of thing. So you should start to like shape the item to fit more of the mechanic that you want to do, and the action that the players do. I think that will
Yeah.
become like stronger and stronger. One more note I have. This is something in your document, but again, I don't know if you're gonna have it. But try to avoid something that is not doing. I know you have an instruction to say look behind, but don't look behind, right? I
Yep.
think you want to be a bit careful with that, because not doing an action it can be a bit vague, because sometimes by default players are not doing actions, and people might be doing an action by not doing action, if that makes sense. You want to think about verbs as like a decision that a player makes to do something, and not doing something is a conscious decision to not do something. But because not doing something is passive, players sometimes are default passive. So by default, they being passive, they are indirectly giving the game an input, if that makes sense. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So like for example, there's one note that says there's a type of monster that you should not shine a light on. And if you really think about it, right, like, oh, that should not shine a light on that. Okay, I just don't do anything lah. And that not doing anything, it doesn't feel as impactful as the player like need to actively do something. I'm actively shining the light on that. That's stronger than
Uh,
I'm not doing something. Mm.
for that particular monster, it's mostly because if you want to see it, you have to keep your light on. But
Mm, mm.
the moment you see it, you need to like take action and turn off your lights,
Okay,
if
okay.
that makes sense.
Ah. Okay, okay. I mean, again, I'm just very speculating here. I don't know how is it implemented, so I'm just putting a note here, just more like something to be a bit cautious of lah. Ah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Not
a good point.
Yeah, not doing something is something that you want to be careful with. Mm.
Okay, so make things like look behind that needs a bit of fine tuning.
Yeah, you might need to fine tune. So again, it's hard for me to tell without playing that specific mechanic. It's just that through my experience, things that you don't do can create like very weird problems lah down the line. And I do not know what problem you might face. It's just that from my experience, usually not doing something is it creates a lot of problems lah. Yeah. Mm.
I see.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. All right. The last
Okay.
one. So this is the current game flow, right? Lily explains
Yep.
the power outage. You survive. First is Iris, and then Teddy Bear drawing tall man, the boss, and then you talk again, and then you have the ending, correct? And
Yep.
all of this happens in one sitting, correct? Or like
Yes.
one sitting. So that means the moment shutdown happens, all this happen back to back to back to back to back to back to back, and then you finish the game, correct?
Correct.
Yes. Okay. You have the game flow, but I cannot really fully identify the gameplay loop. And gameplay loop is something that's very important because this is what will help solve a lot of your design problems if you're facing them. If you can't really secure a gameplay loop, it becomes very difficult to identify what is the real problem. And it is very easy for people to melt a gameplay loop and the gameplay setting or experience. Because people think of loop like, oh, I do this and then this and then this and then this. So people think, oh, it's a loop, right? Because I'm doing this thing. That's not really how a gameplay loop should feel like. A gameplay loop is more like you do an action and something happens would cause you to do this other action, and then this other action would give you more feedback. It will inform you on your next decision, and so on and so forth. So there is feedback coming out of that. So you have a game flow, but not really a gameplay loop in that sense. Because this teddy bear thing has its own mechanics. So you need to subdue Iris and then lock down. So the drawing is
Yeah.
don't shine flashlight. The tall man is use the flash mechanic, and then the boss is flash when yellow, lock when red. This that sort of like the sorry, the iris is in the eye, not the iris, not the character iris. The
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, so there's a lot of rules here, and I feel that when the player goes through it in each of these moments, the tension might be lost because there's so many rules to follow, and the only thing they're fighting against is that trying to learn these new rules as they're playing the game. Because number one, when you're doing all this, right, Iris is giving you instructions, correct? So it becomes a game,
Yeah.
mm, and then it becomes a game of like,
Actually,
uh,
it's Lily, but yeah,
oh sorry. Lily is giving you the instructions,
Lily
correct?
is the kind one, and Iris is the one trying to kill you.
Yes, correct. So while all of this happening, you're watching the text flow, you're watching the instructions coming out, and then you're just following instructions that you're just doing and doing and doing and doing and doing. There is a risk of the game becoming like oh, this is a game all about I'm listening to instructions and I'm completing these set pieces of these things happening. And then it becomes like a game where it's like I'm just going through the motions. I'm just watching instructions and then I'm just doing something. Not to say a game cannot be like that, but it's very hard to scale a game up like this because then you're always thinking about like what other set piece I can give or what other unique scenarios I can give, and then it becomes muddled. One way to sort of test your gameplay loop at the conceptual stage is to always weigh it against your objective and how you can achieve them with the play actions and what is the result of that. So what I'm saying is like you have your goals, you have your objectives, and then when you have the player actions to do all these things, right, there is always feedback and consequence. And when that feedback and consequence happen, it will inform your next decision on what to do. And that will always build up one. That builds up on itself. The players learn the rules as they play along, and it sort of reinforces their flow. Like it keeps them in an engaging flow. The reason why gameplay loops exist is because you want to keep players engaged. You want to keep players like state of flow. Do you know state of flow, right? Like it's like I'm doing something so in focus that I'm constantly being engaged. And once I get to a point where I'm fully engaged, I'm perfectly immersed. That's why gameplay loops exist, is to create this sort of constant engagement loop and to keep the player focused. If you have too many different things happening, that focus might be broken and they are constantly thrown back out of the game and being thrown back out and then coming back in. Let's look at FNAF's game loop for a while because that's one of your main inspiration, right? So what's the objective?
Yeah.
Many monsters come alive, track them and stop them from entering the room. Okay. Using any of the controls consumes power, so don't spam. Okay. So you have this, and the game is very simple. You check the camera to track them. You check the monster outside the door using the lights, and you seal the door from stop them from coming in, and then you just keep repeating over and over again. Now, this is a very simple loop, right? But this is a very popular game. People like it. Why? Because you have all these other elements, right? Like for example, uh, checking the camera, obscures your view. It takes you out of the view of the security room, and then you have to find them. But that means you don't know whether they're at the door or not. And then now I'm going back to the room. I can see the rooms, but I cannot see the camera. So that tension back and forth creates that tension, right? Checking the monsters outside the door using lights, again, count
Yeah.
like if I check the camera, I cannot check the door, correct? That's the immediate feedback, correct? Yeah,
Yep.
and checking uses power, correct? So your
Yeah.
one action, right, is creating this double effect. Checking camera uses power. Checking camera cannot check doors. So there's a push and pull already. So whenever I check camera, I'm making a conscious decision like I need to check the camera. Oh, but I cannot. Then that tension builds up because oh my god, is the monster? I cannot find the monster. Is it behind me right now? Go back. Oh, it's not. Oh, it's not there. Okay, okay. Oh, no, no. That means it's the camera. So that back and forth. So your each action, right, should have a like an outcome, or it should cost something, or like every time you make an action, there is something that is changing in the background. So that's how you test your loop. That's how you test to see whether your game is like engaging or not. Even so, if I write the loop out like this, it looks very simple. But because of how the way the game is structured, it adds that tension automatically. You know.
Yeah,
So you don't want to stack your experiences on top of one another. You want to like sort of like create this sort of like different layers in that sense. One another example I can think about is that there are these games, there are these anomaly detection games. I don't know if you heard of these like alternate watch, observation duty. Have you seen any of these games?
yes, I know these games.
Ah, you know these games, right? Very simple rules and relies on atmosphere to induce attention and works well with minimal space. This game actually feels a lot like yours in a sense where it's like very simple because it's like they give you a set of rules. It's like find the anomalies. What are the rules of the anomalies? And then they give you a list, and then you have to just find them and check, find them and check. It relies a lot on the atmosphere because this game's atmosphere is really good. This camera angle, the lighting and everything, the mundaneness of this room creates attention. And what are your strengths? I think your strengths is your art style and like this art style. Use this atmosphere to create the tension, but maybe you want to think about maybe I should simplify my rules a little bit just to see how it feels like. And then you can really focus on making like these moments pop off when you keep your gameplay rules simple, you keep your rules simple, but of course you are trying to test against you're trying to test against checking the cam like weighing your gameplay loop against the decision the play action, your is there any cause in, is there any outcome, is there any effects. So the more your decisions affect different things, the more tension it becomes, uh, rather than I look at the text and decide whether to do or not to do. You get what I mean?
I see.
So
Yeah,
that would help test your game whether is it strong or not.
I was
Yeah.
worried that there's not enough variety for my monsters, but now, yeah, now
Mm.
it makes more sense. The reason I'm stuck is because there might be too many things happening,
Yes,
and
yes,
I
yes.
can't establish a actual gameplay loop.
Yes, yes. Think about your gameplay loop don't have to be complicated. It can be really, really simple. And once it's locked down, right, then you can really expand. Okay, so I think these are the notes that I have for now. I will export this and give it to you so you can have a copy and just take a look anytime you want.
Yeah, thanks a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah, yeah. So I think that's it. Is there any other thing that you want to ask that I did not cover here?
Mm, yeah, basically it's not particularly for this project, but I want
Mm,
to ask how do you like stay motivated on your own
mm.
projects?
Stay motivated. Okay. For me personally, I think it's very important to give yourself like I don't know if you do this already or not. So maybe you can tell me. You want to give yourself like small little milestones. Very very small, like really simple milestones. Like for example, like you don't have to say like, oh, what's my next milestone is adding the tall man creature. You see,
Yeah.
that becomes very that becomes very big and very wide and very far. Then it's like, oh my god, I have to do the art, I have to create this art, I have to do the special effects, I have to do the gameplay, I have to do this, I have to do that. It becomes so many things, right? I recommend shrinking your mouses a little bit to be like, okay, I want to just complete all the animation sprite for the tall man, and then you just do that. You just do the and all the animation sprite, and then once you're done, you look at everything and say, oh, I done this, good. That's one thing down.
Oh,
And then the next thing you want to like, okay, I want to nail down the lighting effect. I want to get the lighting effect right. And you just do that. You do the lighting effect. You focus on that and everything. And then once you have that, okay, done, tick, and then you're done. Um, the more you do this, I feel the more motivated it becomes because you are not really, no one's really chasing you, so you kind of can set your own deadlines and expectations. But the more you think about goals that are very very big, the harder it is to stay motivated and the harder it is to, because you feel like, ah, crap, I haven't finished the tall man. But if you really think about it, right? Hey, I did the sprite animations. Hey, I did the lighting effects. Hey, I did the sound effects. I did this. I did that. It becomes more and more motivated. Like for example, finding the right sound for the tall man. That's your, like for example, if that's your next goal, That's your next that's your next objective. If you do that, then you feel, oh, I really like how the torment sounds. Animation's not in yet, but it's okay. That's the next thing. Lighting's not in yet. That's the next thing. It's fine. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
see.
yeah. So I don't know if you do that already, but I recommend you do it that way. Ah,
All right, I'll try it out.
you try. Do you have like a schedule for yourself? Do you have like plans? Like, do you have like your own how to say, your own like milestones? Do you have your own goals or anything like that?
I have a Trello board, but
Ah, ah,
the milestones I set for myself there are bigger than those you propose. Like
shrink. Mm.
just do sprites, just do animations, just find a sound. Yeah, I'm doing two big milestones, I
Yes,
guess.
yes. You can still do those, but you break the milestones out into many, many small milestones.
Yeah, thanks for the advice.
Okay, all right, cool. Anything else you want to talk about?
I think that's all.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining this call. I hope this is helpful, and since you showcasing your game here as well, I would also like to thank you lah for help to do these videos as well. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me as well, and this was really helpful.